Wasn't even the first round draft. Sam Bowie. I don't even know who that is. Right? Sam Bowie. So he went from all of that adversity. He kept fighting and fighting. He didn't win first year. He didn't win second year.
They ready, warrior. Breakthroughs require embracing the things that make you feel uncomfortable. Your success potential will always be equivalent to the level that you're willing to be uneasy.
Simply being less than you can be, doing less than you could do, trying less than you could try, doing it with less enthusiasm than you could. I think it somehow damages the mind.
Every one of you in this room were born to leave your fingerprints on history. 9 years ago, man, I did this, and I would encourage some of you too. I took a piece of paper and I wrote down my dreams and my goals, and I slapped it on a bathroom mirror. And every single day I would wake up and I would look at it. And I said, every choice that I make, every decision that I make, I'm going to bounce it off. Is that going to help my dream become real? Or is it going to help destroy my dream? And if the choices that I'm making are helping my dream, that's the choice for me.
He didn't win third year. He didn't win fourth year. He didn't win a championship fifth year. He didn't win one sixth year. It wasn't after 7 years that he won his first title. Guess what he did? He kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And when I told my man HW, listen to me, these brothers have shown me that nothing is impossible. He said, E.T., you got it twisted. It's past possible. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Revolutionize my life. He said it's past possible. See, this is the thing you gotta understand. When somebody say impossible is nothing, you still talk about two double negatives. You talk about a negative here, nothing. A negative here, impossible. He said you got it twisted, Eric. It's not impossible. It's not that nothing is impossible. It's past possible, meaning that there's no way you can't do it. Oh, you're not hearing me. And when he said that, it changed my thought process, because I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Greatness stokes perseverance. Success is governed by the law of supply and demand. The universe will supply whatever your faith demands. Someone with real faith needs no external validation. They just own the dream with absolute belief. Opportunity will always find the person who refuses to quit. It's your faith, not your circumstances, that destiny bows to. Those brave enough to dive into the dark unknown to achieve their dream shall see the world begin to move and shift to bring about the circumstances required to call that dream out of the abyss and into the light. I'm Dr. Billy Allsbrooks, and I am blessed and unstoppable. Motivational art. Welcome to the Louvre. Impact 1 billion. And to God be the glory.
It's past possible. Oh, you're not hearing me. It's past possible. Meaning that not only can you do it, you're going to go way beyond that. It means that the probability of you doing it is greater than you not doing it. You're not hearing what I'm saying? When you say it's past possible, that here, not only will you do it, but the odds are in your favor. That's a whole nother level. It's past possible, meaning that there's nothing you can't do. That the odds are for you and not against you. So you go get that PhD. So you go get that master's. So you go back to school. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing what I'm telling you? It's past possible, meaning that all you got to do is start. Because if it's past possible, as soon as you start, you know you're going to set records. You know you're going to take it to the next level. You know what's going to be that you're going to do what's never been done before. So I challenge you, it's past possible. If you're going to win the fight of your life, you can't be afraid to fight.
On my tombstone, I want the epitaph: be ashamed to die until you have scored some victory for humanity. And a victory for humanity is not a victory for yourself. It's not statues. It's not your name. It's just humanity's better off. Any of us, I think, should want the world to be a little better off for you having lived in it. That doesn't mean people praising you, not even about that. But what do you have to give with no expectation of return? No one ever told me that I had to search for meaning in life. Many people look for meaning in life as though it's going to be under a rock or behind a tree. And I'm thinking to myself, you have more power than that.
The choices we're making are destroying our dreams. That's not the choice for you. You have to learn to become mission, goal, dream-oriented, and not in the moment, impulsive-oriented. It's like when you look in a rear-view mirror. When you look in the rear-view mirror, the words "read things in the mirror" are closer than they appear. And I need every one of you young men and young ladies to understand that your dreams and your goals, they're right there in front of you. They are closer than you can imagine or even think about a dream. They're right there.
That isn't true. Nothing has to give, But at any given moment, at any given time, so for example, if I'm at the gym crushing weights, during that moment, my business is suffering, isn't it? Because I'm not involved in that endeavor at that time. That's just common sense. So please stop beating yourself up when one area is going great and another area at that time is maybe leveled out or is actually in a plateau or is even going downward. It's okay. Here's the key thing for me that I've done, because by the way, this is something I've struggled with, having my main business, multiple companies. I'm involved in 14 different startups right now. I've got my fitness life, I've got my Instagram, my YouTube, my podcast. I've got a family. I've got my fitness side of my life. I've got my philanthropic stuff, my foundations. I've got my jet. I've got pilots. I've got all these material things that need taken care of. 4 different homes, right? And then hundreds and thousands of people who depend upon me. So if I was seeking perfect balance in my life at any given time and I beat myself up because I didn't have it, I'd be a mess. I'd be a wreck.
It damages our self-image. Because here's what I've discovered happens. The minute you turn this around and start extending yourself, it isn't the value you get from extending yourself that's the greatest value. It's how you feel about yourself that's the greatest value. Because see, it's not what we get that makes us valuable. It's what we become. And part of becoming is to see what all you can become. See what all you can do. See how much you can earn, how much you can share, how much you can start, how far you can reach, how far you can extend your influence. Now, that kind of commitment to philosophical thinking about attitude and about activity, we call this the potential for life change.
I don't care if you're in the 7th grade or up to the senior right now. What you want to become and what you want to achieve, it's right there. Things in the mirror are closer than they appear. And the doctor, the teacher, the scientist, the cardiologist, the cosmetologist, the athlete, the entertainer, the musician. Whatever it is that you want to become, it's right there in front of you. But the choices and the decisions that we make are going to matter. And we've got to stop letting the opinions of people that don't really value you and what they think about you hold you back from breaking free and running at this thing with everything that you've got, man.
So I'm aware that certain areas are going to suffer at given times. Now, the key thing for me, though, is paying attention, okay? Here's what I'm learning to do better. I can't even honestly tell you that I've perfected this craft, but let me tell you what I think I do well. Whatever I'm doing, I'm present. I'm present in the moment. So what that means is that when I walk into my business, one of my businesses, I'm present in that business during that time, not thinking about my other businesses, not distracted on my phone, checking text messages from another business. I'm fully engaged there. Let me give you a really key thing I've learned as I've studied myself and the vast majority of my friends who I think I would call successful. They have the capacity to be in the moment they're in. They have the capacity to be present in the moment they're in. The people that suffer, they don't suffer because one area is spiking and another one's plateauing. They suffer because when they're in that moment in their business, they're thinking about their fitness.
Do the best you can. Covered earlier, but here's a good scenario for the do the best you can. I've got a good question for you. Is the best you can do all you can do? And the answer is no. Strangely enough, if we all fell on the floor right now and did as many push-ups as we possibly could, and let's say for some reason you haven't been into push-ups lately, I can't imagine why, but let's say the best you could do is 5. And you look up at the rest of us and say, hey, 5 is the best I can do. We can tell by the look on your face that's probably true. 5 is the best you can do. Now, is 5 all you can do? The answer is no. If you rest a little, you can do 5 more. And if you rest a little, you can do 5 more. And if you rest a little, you can do 15 more. How did we get from 5 to 15? It's a miracle.
Because the dreams, all of those things, they're right there in front of you. But it's the choices and the decisions that we make. These are the currencies that are going to purchase that dream. Decisions are currency that purchases those dreams. Prioritizing your life is the currency that purchases those dreams. What you do is what's going to matter. Some of you got to stop playing and start recognizing that this is your moment. Don't you dare give yourself away for something that you're not, because you want to fit in. Don't do it. Don't you dare do it.
Nothing in your life just happened. Your life is not over. You're not too old. It's not too late. God knows about your limitations. Whatever God has predetermined to happen will come to pass. And no devil in hell has ever been able to abort the purpose of God, not once. Your mistakes were in his will. Your trouble was in his will. I don't care what you went through. David said, if I make my bed in hell, God is still there. He was with you in the middle of your trouble. He was with you in the middle of your pain. You ought to shout, I don't care where you are, because nothing just happens. The reason we worship him as God is because he is the CEO. He runs the universe. Think about the most damnable thing that ever happened and shout nothing. Think about the most embarrassing thing that ever happened in your life and shout nothing. Think about people who loved you and walked out and left you and shout nothing. Think about the struggle going on your job right now and shout nothing. There's a reason why it happened at this age. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident. God didn't fall asleep on the job and the devil came in and wrecked the car. He's in complete control, and he knows where you are, and he knows how old you are, and he knows what happened to you, and he knows who walked out and left you, and he knows about your bills, and he knows about what you didn't get, and he knows about the health of your child. Understand that and tell yourself nothing just happens. And hear me when I tell you this. When people can walk away from you, let them walk. I don't want you to try to talk another person into staying with you, loving you, coming to see you, staying attached to you. I mean, hang up the phone. When people can walk away from you, let them walk. People leave you because they're not joined to you. And if they're not joined to you, you get super glue and you can't make them stay. Let them go.
Don't worry about the people that God has removed from your life. He saw things you didn't see. He heard conversations you couldn't hear. And he made moves you wouldn't make.
We all have things happen to us in life that we don't understand. We worked hard, but we didn't get the promotion. Or people that have turned on us. It's easy to live frustrated and fight against everything we don't like. We think that it's holding us back. But Psalm 119 says, everything serves his plan. The betrayals are serving his plan. The person that walked away is serving his plan. If that wouldn't have happened, you couldn't reach your destiny. What you couldn't see was God had something better. You may not like it, it doesn't seem fair, but it's serving his plan. When you understand that everything serves his plan, then you won't live frustrated when something unfair happens. The person that walked away wasn't a coincidence, it was God moving them away. We need to see difficulties in a new light. You can't reach your destiny without opposition, without betrayals. Why are you upset over something that's designed to move you forward? God wouldn't have allowed it if he didn't have a purpose. Nothing can happen to you without his permission. How do you know that closed door, that bad break, that disappointment is not setting you up for something that you've never seen? That coworker that always gets on your nerves. You know why they haven't moved? They're serving you. God is using them like sandpaper to rub the rough edges off of you. The scripture says our steps are being ordered by the Lord. Don't be upset over that person that's trying to make you look bad. You need them to reach your destiny. God doesn't take us in a straight line. Sometimes it's going to feel like you're going backwards. You have to trust him when you don't understand. That's why Paul said, all things work together for good to those that love the Lord. All things may not be good. The loss isn't good, but the promise is it's going to work out for your good. Now the test, while it's not good, will you stay in faith? Will you believe that God is still on the throne? That what he started in your life, he's going to finish? Many of the challenges that you're facing now, they don't have anything to do with now. It's positioning you for something in your future. you will see how God will begin to connect the dots. There was a man out in his boat. Big storm came up and his boat capsized. But he ended up stranded on a deserted island all by himself. He kept praying and praying for God to send somebody, but it seemed like the heavens were silent. One day, while he was out gathering food, when he came back, the small thatched roof hut that he had built somehow caught on fire. It was like pouring salt on the wound. About an hour later, he saw a boat way off in the distance. It kept getting closer and closer. Sure enough, it was the Coast Guard coming to rescue him. He said, "How in the world did you find me?" The captain said, "We saw the smoke coming from the fire that you built." Sometimes what we think is a disappointment is really God positioning us for a new level. If your hut's on fire today, instead of being bitter, have a new perspective. It's serving His plan. It may not make sense now. The betrayal, the closed doors can be discouraging. But you have to keep reminding yourself it's not working against you, it's working for you. Sometimes God is not removing the obstacle because He's using the obstacle to get us prepared. We don't grow in the good times. We prefer that much better, but we wouldn't reach our potential. We grow when it's difficult. That's why you can't pray away every challenge. If the situation is not changing, then God is using the situation to change you. If God made everything easy for us, we wouldn't be ready for where we're going. God has amazing things in your future. But to get there, you're going to have to defeat some big giants, outlast some strong opposition. You have to stand strong and show the opposition that you're more determined than they are. Every day you stay in faith, you thank God when nothing's happening, your spiritual muscles are growing. You're getting stronger, more determined, developing a greater trust in God. Keep the right attitude. Keep doing the right thing when the wrong thing is happening. Don't be discouraged because nothing's happening on the outside, something's happening on the inside. You're getting stronger. God didn't lessen what came against you. He simply added to your strength. Now you can handle what you couldn't handle in the past. You may have been dealing with situations for a long time that are not improving. I believe right now grace is coming on you in a new way. God is breathing strength into you, fresh passion, a second wind so you can outlast what's trying to stop you. Don't go around, why did the door close? Why did these people betray me? No, turn it around. Father, thank you that your grace is sufficient. I may not understand it, but I know it's serving your plan. And I believe when it's all said and done, I'm not only going to come out, I'm going to come out better. God is saying to you today, everything that's come against you is going to turn out for your good. Perhaps your hut is on fire today. What you can't see is the Most High God is on the way. Something that looked permanent is about to suddenly turn around. I'm asking you to trust Him when you don't understand. Stay in peace. Everything serves His plan.
I say that because sometimes you're whining about things that really don't matter. And if you were smart, you would learn how to count your blessings and to thank God for what He's done in your life.
If you're a married couple, you have to have a minimum 4 bank accounts. The best advice I ever got. You need 4 bank accounts. If one person is working in the house or if 2 people work in the house, it don't matter. You need 4 bank accounts. You take your money, financial planner taught me this. You put both monies in one account. That account takes care of all necessary items: car notes, mortgage, rent, electric, gas, food, everything that maintains your lifestyle. The second account that you have is a savings account that requires 2 signatures to move. But out of every check, I don't care if it's $5, $10, or $100, you gotta agree to put something in that savings account. That money cannot be moved unless it has 2 signatures. Then the third and fourth account you need is her personal account and your personal account. You decide what the allowance is for each of the people. I am not allowed to tell Marjorie what she can do with that money that's in her account. I can't check it. I can't go behind it. She can't say to me about mine. If I want to buy golf clubs with it, I can buy golf clubs. If she want to buy shoes, if she want to buy makeup, she want to go on a spa, you can't say. It allows a married couple to maintain some individuality, and no grown-up person wants to go to another adult to ask for some money. Nobody wants to go, can I get my hair done? Well, we can't afford that this week. Oh, you. And that advice he gave me was the best advice. It holds down a lot of arguments, man. Now, if you spend your money in your account, yeah, see you next month. But now, fellas, let me tell you something. The woman should get more in her account than you get in yours. No, I'm just telling you, because of the maintenance cost of being a woman. It's just more expensive.
This is your checklist for the rest of your life. If something's not working in your relationship, this is the first place you go. 5 disciplines of love and 3 of passion. These 5 disciplines are what the game is all about. The first discipline we call the discipline of unconditional love and compassion. The discipline, why do I call it a discipline? Because you don't always feel unconditionally loving and you don't always feel compassionate. If your triggers get fired, if something triggers your masculine or feminine, animal in you, that survival instinct in you based on something going on, you may not show up so, unconditional in your love and compassion. What this really means, put it in one phrase, put your lover what? It's not about you. That's the law. You put your lover first. If you are having problems in your relationship, I can promise you that the problem you're having right now is you're feeling pain right now, and it's because you're focused on yourself, not your partner. You're focused on what you're not getting. You're focused on what your partner's not giving you. You're focused on something that's not happening there. This is the #1 law. You want to have an extraordinary relationship, tear up your rules, make this your #1 rule. #1 rule is my lover comes first. My #1 rule is if you're in love, you put their feelings and needs before your own. Second discipline, real quick, the discipline of absolute courage and vulnerability. Absolute courage and vulnerability. This is learning to love no matter what. I mean, truly no matter what. Now, how many people are going to do that? Not many. Not many people are going to have an extraordinary relationship. But what I mean by this is, if you have courage and vulnerability, that means you tell the truth. That means you open up. Most people, out of a lack of courage, hold back their gift. This idea that you're going to give pain to somebody you love, you're going to punish them, that takes no courage, that takes no vulnerability, that's just stupidity. So the more vulnerable you are, the more power you have, because love penetrates all. Third law is the law of positive intent. The discipline, I should say, of positive intent. By the way, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. You don't follow these disciplines, you're gonna have regret. Right? They're disciplines, they're commitments, they're things you're gonna do no matter what. Discipline means even if it's not easy, you still do it, right? Discipline it's a habit. That's what a discipline is, it's a habit. It's the discipline of positive intent. You know the deeper truth that this is a no blame game. You know that when something happens, no matter what it was, like when I said that to her, my girl knew, she and I made a decision early on. I decided, and this is a decision I encourage you to make if you haven't made it, or make it anew if you haven't made it in years. I decided I knew this woman's soul. This woman's soul was as pure as anything I could ever dream of in my life. I knew that I loved this woman, her soul was pure, so no matter what happened, I would serve her, and no matter what happened, no matter what she said, no matter what she did, I would know, even if I couldn't figure out how, the intent was pure. The intent was wanting to get closer. It looks mean, but she's scared. It looks vicious, but she's just freaked out. you know? And same thing with me. He looks like he's an unconscious asshole. He just doesn't know. It looks like he doesn't give a shit. He's actually a masculine male, and this is what they do, right? We shifted the meaning to always there's an empowering meaning because there's never negative intent, no matter what it looks like, no matter what was said. And by having that, along with that, the discipline of positive intent, in a sense, no blame game, we immediately apologize. It doesn't matter what has happened. If there's any argument we have, it's a playful argument, which is, I'm taking responsibility and she's taking responsibility. No, honey, it was my fault. No, it was my fault. And it's like, and we mean it sincerely. It doesn't matter what it is, because I hold myself as whatever she's feeling, ultimately it's my responsibility. Even if I didn't intend it, that's it. So I take responsibility. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry your feelings were hurt. She does it with me also. And since we both are constantly doing it, it makes it like there's nobody ever blaming somebody else. So think about this. We put each other first. If we find we're not, we change that immediately.
If you've been struggling to figure out your passion, or you're unclear as to how to turn your passion into profits, or you're having a hard time making a substantial amount of money following your passion, then I have an important message for you. Hi, this is T. Harv Eker. I'm the author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And I have to say that I'm disappointed and frustrated that so many people settle for jobs, careers, and businesses that don't fit who they really are as a person. And you know what? I totally understand why this happens. I mean, we have this old and often ineffective system called school that promises that when we graduate, we'll have this great job waiting for us. Well, one of them that's going to make us good money so that we can live comfortably and have a great life. You know what? Back in the day, maybe that was the case for a lot of people. They did get a good job after school, but it only allowed them to make some decent money and hopefully pay the bills. Basically enough to survive. Now, if you're in a generation younger than me, then many of you have actually had it much worse because the job market, in case you haven't noticed, has been extremely tough. And a lot of you have taken pretty well anything that you could get. And you know what? There's no shame in that. I mean, we all need to make some money for the basics, yes? So I totally understand that. But what about the other important parts of our life? Does being in a job that you don't like or just earning a living result in a fantastic life? If you hate getting up in the morning and going to work and you mostly live for your weekends, does that allow you to be fully happy? To me, this is robbing you of the most precious thing you've got, your life. Why? Because most of us spend the majority of our time working more than anything else that we do. Yes or yes? And if you don't really love what you do, then guess what? Then you can't really love your life. I hope you can relate to that, yes? So I sure can do that myself. I mean, I can relate to all of this because, you know what? This was one of the biggest challenges I ever had in my whole life. Early in my career, I actually had 14 different jobs and 12 different businesses in just 10 years, searching for the right work. I was looking for the hottest new businesses and upcoming trends, and I was trying anything where I thought I could make money quickly. And even though I was sure, I was positive this was the route to happiness and success, I ended up with what? Little money, little meaning, and very little or no fulfillment at all. And it wasn't until I stopped looking at outside opportunities and started looking inside that my life changed. And for the first time, I started to get really clear. And what I found out was that what I was searching for was not outside of me at all. It was inside of me.
Remember, be a student, not a follower. And here's what you must always do. Design your own personal life. Remember, be no one's disciple. Chart your own course. Make what you do the product of your own conclusion. Here's another approach. Step down to something easier. If you're getting hassled by the management of time, what you're doing, you might want to, change course. What I'm saying here is be your own person. You don't have to be a model of someone else. You don't have to do it like anybody else. Right? Do it like yourself. Buy what you want to buy,
Listen to what you want to listen to, make changes if you want to make changes, and don't make changes. Right? It's your life, I'm telling you. And don't let anybody persuade you any different. Success is not a stereotype. Success is not a Ferrari. Success is not an automobile. It's not a house. It's not a place. It's not money in the bank. It's not $1 million. That's not success. Success is the continual unfolding of the design of your own life and pulling it off. That's what success is. The continual unfolding of the design of your own personal life and pulling it off in whatever degree you wish. That is success. Successful in doing whatever you want to do that makes sense to you, for you, your family, your responsibilities. Take on responsibilities or refuse responsibilities. That's strictly all up to you. We've been given the power of choice. Every life form except human beings operates by instinct in the genetic code. It has no multiple choice. Only humans have multiple choice. All life form is driven by instinct in the genetic code except human beings. Now, why not human beings? Because here it is. We've been given the dignity of choice. We're not like a robot. We're not stuck like a tree, using up all the nourishment, nothing left, now you die because you can't change location. Not true. Humans can go north, south, east, west. Humans can change, do anything they want to do. We've been given the dignity. But here's what's interesting about all life form except humans. Every life form except humans strives to the max of its potential. How tall will a tree grow? As tall as it possibly can. You never heard of a tree growing half as high as it could. No, that is impossible. A tree grows as high as it can, drives down every root it can, produces every leaf it can, extends itself as far as it possibly can. Every life form extends to the max, except human beings. Now, why not human beings? Because we're not robots. We've been given the dignity of choice. And here's a couple of alternatives on the dignity of choice. To be part of or all of. You have the potential to be. And you got the choice. Do a little to make yourself comfortable and forget the rest, or do it all. And there's nobody here to dictate you got to do it all. That's nonsense.
Let me tell you something before you go. Whenever people come see me live, I try to say something meaningful to people. You know, I'm in the laugh business. That's my gift. That's what God gave me at birth. Your gift is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. I want to tell you something that can help enrich your life. It's a sure sign from God that he ain't through with you, because he wakes you up in the morning. When he's done, you won't wake up no more. But as long as you're waking up, that means he has something for you that he hasn't been able to give to you for whatever the reason. I'm going to help you get to that reason a little bit quicker. I want to tell you something that I learned that changed my life. I was reading a book one time that had a quote in there from Albert Einstein. And Albert Einstein said, "Imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction." If you think about that, that's a really, really true statement. Because everything you see in this world came from somebody's imagination. Everything. Somebody was talking on the phone one day, on that wall phone, connected to the cord, and tried to walk, and it didn't go no further. And he wanted to just go outside and get something out the car. Somebody said, "You know what? I wish I could take this phone outside." Everybody in here got a cell phone. It was in somebody's imagination. Somebody imagined that. Somebody imagined everything. Somebody got tired of walking. Somebody got tired of driving cars. Somebody said, "We're going to fly." You're not finna fly. Everybody in here have been on a plane. See, your imagination is the evidence of things not seen. You know why they call it the evidence of things not seen? Your imagination, you're the only one can see it. You're the only one can see it. See, so all this stuff you've been imagining was not some hocus pocus. When you imagine stuff, it's actually God showing you a preview of a coming attraction he has for you. That's what your imagination is. Why do you keep imagining yourself with a second home? Because God wants you to have a second home. Why do you keep imagining yourself in a supervisory capacity on another job? Because God really wants you to have that. Why you keep dreaming of opening a business one day? That's because that's what God really got for you. And he put it in your imagination. The problem with your imagination, though, is you tell it to the wrong people. If you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. You can't, oh man. Think about this in your life. How many times have you had this really incredible idea and you took it to your family and your friends? You shared it with them and they shot it down. You know why they shot it down? Because they couldn't see it. Because God didn't put it in their imagination. He put it in yours. It was your evidence of things not seen. See, all this stuff you've been imagining, you ought to start working on it. Because that's what God really got for you. Your real life is in your imagination. I'm here to tell you that. You think I'm here by accident? I'm here because he put this in my imagination when I was 10. When I was 10, he showed me I was going to be on TV. That's all I ever wanted. The assignment when I was in the 6th grade was everybody write their name on a piece of paper and write what you want to be. You know what I wrote on my paper? I want to be on TV. Now, the problem I had, though, was I used to suffer with a serious stuttering problem. I couldn't talk outside my house. I stuttered for years. I flunked out of school. I'm on my 3rd marriage. I lost everything I ever owned twice. I've been homeless and lived in a car for 3 years. But at 10, though, I wrote on a piece of paper, I want to be on TV. So the teacher went around the room and read everybody's paper, had you stand up when she called your name, and the only assignment was your name and what you want to be. Doctor, lawyer, dentist, basketball player, football player. I wrote I want to be on TV. She saved me for last. She said, little Stevie, come to the front. Now I'm thinking, I'm going to the front because I got the best answer. Because ain't nobody had put that on their paper. She called me to the front. I'm thinking I'm finna give me a gold star, but I was wrong about that. She called me to the front to humiliate me. First of all, you know I can't talk. I suffered with stuttering stammer so bad, man. I couldn't talk at all. And that lady lit in on me. Why did you write this on your paper? Now I'm standing there, I can't talk. Who in this school ever been on TV? Who in your family ever been on TV? Who in this neighborhood ever been on TV? I'm crushing, man. I'm standing there dying. She said, look at you standing there. You can't even talk. How they gonna put somebody like you on TV? So every Christmas, I send her a flat screen TV. Because I don't want her to miss me. I do not want her to miss not an episode of me. Because I wanted her to see what God had done for me. The fact that you couldn't see it.
Hi, welcome back to Mind Control. Hope you enjoy the video.
There's nothing wrong with me being me. I dress the way I like to dress. I dance the way I feel it. There's a reason I clap the way I clap. I nod my head the way I want to nod my head. It's part of my full-grown manness. You can take my clothes, but it wasn't in my clothes. And you can take my bracelets, it's not in my bracelets. And you can change my name and cut my hair, but you cannot take my identity. Because I still remember who I am. I don't need your acceptance to the point of liquefying my uniqueness. I'd rather you dislike me and see me than to neutralize my identity, compromise my standard, just so that I can fit in with you. If you're gonna love me, you're gonna have to love me the way I am. Don't you forget who you are. I don't care how long the pandemic lasts. I don't care how much we go through. I don't care how tough it gets. Don't you forget who you are.
When you were created with a specific purpose, a specific design. You were designed to do what nobody else can do. Aren't you tired? You know, somebody telling you when to come to work. Somebody telling you when to take lunch. Somebody telling you when to do a vacation. Somebody telling you what you can and cannot do. Some of us, we were born to fly. But what I'm telling you is when you become the right person, once you identify who you are and you begin to separate yourself from the masses and you begin to see your individuality.
It's easy to look around at everybody else and say, that's what life looks like. That life looks perfect. I want to be just like that. So they go around and start acting like other people. So they end up lost. You have to follow your heart. You have to be you. You have to make your choices based on your principles and beliefs.
You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. And of course, the other side of the coin reads, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you got. Success is something you attract, not something you pursue. Success is looking for a good place to stay. So instead of going after it, you work on yourself. Personal development. See, the major question to ask on the job is not what are you getting? The major question to ask on the job is what are you becoming?
See, the big question is not what am I getting paid here? The big question is what am I becoming here? Because true happiness is not contained in what you get. Happiness is contained. It was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. That's the key. Learn how to take advantage of the spring. Spring is called opportunity. And spring follows winter. What a great place for it. If you were going to put it somewhere, that'd be the place to put it, right after winter. And pray tell, how often does spring follow winter? Every year with regularity, 6,000. You can almost count on it. See, opportunity always comes. Days follow nights. Isn't that terrific? Opportunity follows difficulty. But here's what you must learn to do. Take advantage. You must learn to take advantage of the spring. See, just because spring rolls around is no sign you're going to look good come fall. You got to do something with it. In fact, you have to get good at one of two things in life. Planting in the spring or begging in the fall. Or get somebody to do it for you. See, those are about the only alternatives. Now here's what else you must do. Take advantage of the springs quickly, because there's only a few. Just a handful of springs have been handed to each of us. They don't come forever. Life is fairly brief. So you got to read every book you can get your hands on what to do with your springs while they're here. And take advantage, they soon run out. So whatever you're going to do with your life, you got to get at it. Don't just let the springs pass. Learn how to protect your crops all summer. You got to take care of what you start. Sure enough, as soon as you've planted your garden in the spring, the busy bugs and the noxious weeds are out to take it. And here's the next bit of truth. They will take it unless you prevent it. And that's the third major skill to learn. You've got to learn to prevent the intruder from taking all the good you start. It's one of the challenges. All good will be attacked. On this planet. Maybe not the next one we get to, but on this one, all good will be attacked. Every garden will be invaded. Not to think so is naive. All values must be defended. Political values, social values, community values, family values, marriage values, friendship values, business values. Every garden must be tended all summer. Learn how to reap in the fall without complaint. Learn to reap come harvest time without complaint. Take full responsibility for what happens to you. It's one of the highest forms of human maturity, accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood, the day you accept full responsibility. Learn to reap in the fall without apology. Without apology if you do well, and without complaint if you don't. That's maturity. It's not what happens, it's what you do. What happens is about the same. You might put that in parentheses here. Same. What people do, that's what's different. Anything can happen, right? Everything can happen. I've heard all the stories. I've been one of the stories. Hey, we could all tell stories all night long, right? Happenings. Anything can happen. Everything can happen. Anything can happen. But it's not the happenings. It's what you do about it. Somebody says, yeah, but you don't understand the disappointments I've had. Come on. Everybody's had their share. Disappointments are not special gifts reserved for the poor. Everybody has them. The difference is what you do about it. Starting tomorrow, what are you going to do that'll make a change in your life's direction? Good question. What are you going to do starting tomorrow that'll make a difference? Now see, if you don't do something starting tomorrow that'll make a difference, guess what? It's gonna be the same. And see, that way you can guess what the next 5 years are gonna be like. Look at the last 5. Because the next 5 are gonna be like the last 5 unless you, major key, tomorrow, change it all. Or change a little, or change something, or don't change. It's choice time. You can do whatever you want. But it's nice to know any day you wish you can change your whole life. What can you do starting tomorrow that'll make a difference? And reach down inside of you and come up with some more of those remarkable human gifts. They're there, waiting to be utilized. And then change anything for you want to change. And I challenge you to do that because you can change. If you don't like how it is for you, change it. If it doesn't suit you, change it. If it doesn't please you, change it. If it isn't enough, change it. And I challenge you to do that because you can change. See, you don't ever have to be the same again after tonight, only by choice.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Please also like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and families. Please watch our other motivational videos. Thank you again.